Mr. Colley.
Let's give Ed a big hand.
Thank you. Good evening. I want to thank the Canyon Country Advisory Committee for hosting this event. I've been attending the Canyon Country Advisory Committee meetings for many years and always find these meetings to be very thought-provoking and useful. In 1995, I was stationed in Germany doing a job I loved as a space systems engineer. But the Cold War was over, our military was drawing down. Kathy and I decided to retire from active duty, and we began a nationwide search for a new place to call home. With a master's degree in electrical engineering, I certainly did not lack opportunities. Like so many others looking for a quality place to call home, we adopted Santa Clarita as our new home. Kathy and I have had a dozen different addresses since we were first married 35 years ago. Frequent moves are one of the many challenges faced by those who choose a military career. From personal experience and comparisons, we can tell you that Santa Clarita is the best place in America to raise a family. Hard data, ranging from crime statistics to the outstanding API scores of our local schools, confirms this assertion. Now our grandchildren live here as well. My investment of my time and talents in keeping Santa Clarita the great place it is very personal to me. Within months of moving here, beginning a new career in teaching for the Hart High School District, I immersed myself in service to this great community. I've been active in many different campaigns to elect good people to public service, and I've worked on several different school bonds as well. At one point, when we had a couple of activists, Lynn Flambeck specifically and Henry Schultz, they sought election to City Council. I did assist others in forming a PAC that opposed them. Only those who seek to intentionally distort the truth fail to point out that I was not affiliated with this PAC after 2006. My offer to serve on the City Council is completely consistent with my life of service. I served a full career in the military. For the last 16 years, the opportunity to teach our children was well worth the sacrifice and pay I endured. Like most of you, I volunteer hundreds of hours to local charities. I have served over 9 years on the Castaic Lake Water Agency, and I have been appointed to the Los Angeles County Commission on Disabilities. Kathy and I are proud to have taught our children similar values. Alan has served 2 year-long deployments in the War on Terror. Carolyn is a disabled Air Force veteran. We lost Stephen shortly after he returned from Iraq. Melissa has joined me in teaching for the Hart High School District. Over the next 4 years, our city will face many important issues. We must continue to fight the mega mine on every possible front. Traffic congestion continues. The unelected Regional Water Quality Control Board continues to insist on meeting the demands of some in Ventura County that will reduce our discharge of chloride into the river. Drugs, including heroin, continue to be used by our young people. I've been active in seeking real solutions to these problems and others, and with your support, I will continue these efforts as a member of the City Council.
Thank you. Okay. Same question to you that we asked earlier. When do you think that a candidate should be held responsible by the voting public for purposely making misleading statements about the character of other candidates when they know the statements to be untrue?
Yes.
Okay. That's your answer is yes? Good.
Yes, absolutely.
Right. Same question from Dennis Werner. How much time per week can you devote to this position if you're elected?
I have an advantage in that my children are grown. Our youngest is now 19 and a student at College of the Canyons, and so I don't need to spend as much time with helping raise a family as I did many years ago, as we raised 6 children. So I do have quite a bit of flexibility in my schedule, quite a bit of time. I've devoted, I easily today devote 30 hours a week or more to the variety of things that I already do as far as my elected office, working with charities and that sort of thing. So I would say easily I have the ability to devote 20 to 30 hours per week. I'm not sure if I was to take on the duties of mayor, as Mayor Ender has suggested, that might involve even more time. So that might be more difficult before I retire.
All right, thank you. All right, we'll ask you the same question as Phil. How do you feel about the city becoming a charter city?
The city, as currently structured, is working fine. General Law City with the city manager is working fine. There was a question you asked earlier about whether or not I would support an elected mayor. I think that if that was to be put before the voters, I would vote for it. I think that would be a reasonably good idea. But I see no problem currently as a general law city.
Okay, if I may, that's a curious answer because no one else has answered that. So could you explain that a little bit, why you would be in favor of an elected mayor as opposed to a rotated?
Well, okay. I'm glad you asked me to clarify that, because that is not an indictment of the City Council's decision as regard to Mayor Pro Tem. The most recent decision of the Mayor Pro Tem, of course, if you look at that, there was a nomination and a second for mayor. Went through, everybody voted on it, and when it came to Mayor Pro Tem, as I recall, there was only one person nominated. And so I really have not understood the consternation of some when those sitting up there voting on it voted for the only person that was nominated. There was not an ability under the Brown Act, and so because I am elected, I understand the Brown Act, and if they had discussed it ahead of time amongst themselves, it would have been a huge Brown Act violation, and it certainly would not happen. So there's an implication that there should have been some Brown Act violation, and I don't believe there should have been.
All right, that wasn't where I was going, but thank you.
Okay. Sorry.
It's all right. Carla Edwards asked, what is your opinion of the city takeover of the library?
My opinion of the city's takeover of the libraries. I am certainly in favor of it. I think that the city is doing a great job in doing that. I'm actually amused some by what almost seems counterintuitive to me, that there are people that are upset, apparently, that we are not collecting a tax. The $27 tax that used to be collected, that the city decided that they didn't need to pursue anymore. I'm delighted with lowering taxes. I wish there were other opportunities, and I think if elected to city council, if I have the opportunity to lower taxes, I will continue to do that.
Okay, if I'm not mistaken, you're the only one on the board other than, or on the panel today other than Ms. Ender and Mr. Keller that are elected officials. If you were elected to city council, would you vacate your position on the water board?
Yes. My position on the water board and Castaic Lake Water Agency, there was an opinion generated by the Castaic Lake Water Agency attorney quite some number of years ago that under the law, the two positions are what we call incompatible offices. And so the moment I am elected onto city council, by definition, I have resigned my seat on the Castaic Lake Water Agency. And to go back to the question of the time I would need to devote to the business of the city, I already spend a great deal amount of time on the Castaic Lake Water Agency board business, and I certainly could not do justice to both.
Okay, thank you. Same question to you from Dr. Dorio. With the changing demographics and the population changing and increasing, what would you do as a city council member to ensure the community has adequate health care facilities, especially for seniors?
I am in favor, of course, of expanding our existing hospital, and I am very much in favor of working hard, doing anything we can as a city to entice anyone that would consider building a hospital in the Canyon Country area. I know that with 6 children, one of them an avid, well, several of them actually an avid snowboarder. My wife has made more than one trip to the emergency room, and typically she has gone to the ER down in the San Fernando Valley because she can get there faster than she can get to Henry Mayo at certain times of the day. They're just the traffic. We do live on the in Canyon Country, deep in Canyon Country, down the Shadow Pines area, and so it's kind of a sad state of affairs that many of those in Canyon Country live quite a distance from our quote local hospital. So I would be very much in favor of building a hospital on the east end. Okay.
This question again is from Mike Nowen. I probably said it 10 different ways. His question is very direct. Will you make a commitment here today on behalf of you and your associates not to engage in any dirty or less than ethical practices against your opponents?
I have made that commitment. If you check my website, okay, you know, the comments from the audience, I think, are their concern with my having raised the issue as it relates to another candidate who is currently on the city council, who has accepted large amounts of money from a developer. I have asked the question of the FPPC and the district attorney I've inquired as to the legality of that, having read the law myself and having had a great deal of training. Understand that you pointed out that I'm one of the 3 elected officials on this board. As an elected official, we get a lot of training. It's a required training that we undergo to meet the minimal ethical standards. And so I would hope that most people in this room, if they become aware of a concern that anyone else has violated a significant and important law, that they would indeed report it to the appropriate authorities. I have done that.
All right. Another question that just came up. This is from Carol Sherwood. And you may have partially answered, but we'll ask it as well. If elected, would you do anything, or what would you do to upgrade the senior center's facilities?
The senior center in Newhall, it does not meet what I think are the current needs of this very quickly growing community. I would certainly work as a member of the city council with the various charitable efforts. You know, I recall very, very much a few years ago when Joanne Darcy was on the city council, and I worked with her in a variety of different efforts where she was truly a near saint in her devotion to the charities that fed into the senior centers and the seniors' concerns. I would, as a city council person, hope to be able to do some small fraction of the good that Joanne Darcy was able to do in her tenure as far as helping the seniors. But our current facility in Newhall is clearly inadequate.
Thank you. This question is from David Letness. He says there was a letter in the Signal today that stated you were the treasurer of the Citizens for Integrity in Government. Were you the treasurer when the citizens donated $30,000 to Ms. Ender's campaign?
All right. I find myself in a strange position of actually defending another candidate up here. The letter contained something that was simply a lie. It is not true that Mayor Ender accepted nor anyone gave her a $30,000 donation for her campaign. That the campaign contribution limits are were at that time $360. She did not violate that. The committee you're speaking about, the Citizens for Integrity in Government, did in fact work on that campaign. I was not part of that. As I stated earlier, I resigned as treasurer of that PAC in 2006, I believe, long before Mayor Ender's last campaign. And so it is true, as I said in my opening, that I was treasurer and did assist that legal committee in working against and working for, indeed, some candidates. I would point out that it's of interest to me that there seems to be no outcry when the efforts I did helped Mr. Hershey in his potential bid for office, but yet later on when others, not me, in the same committee worked in some way to benefit Mayor Ender, there seems to be a problem. So I was not treasurer at the time in question in the article this morning.
Okay, thanks. This is Berta Gonzalez's question again. Will you commit to agendizing, taking public input, and a public vote regarding the method by which we will determine who is the mayor and the mayor pro tem, or did I already ask you that?
No, I don't believe I was asked the question. I did sort of answer the question as far as I would support the concept of an elected mayor. If that gets its way onto the ballot, I will vote in favor of it. I've also, I think, made clear that as the system is currently done, the council votes on mayor and mayor pro tem. I believe it's appropriate that the council vote on that. And I'm not sure if there's an implication in the question that the people that come that day, somehow or another, we ought to all hold up our hands and do the election that way. I don't think I would be in favor of that, but I would be in favor of an elected mayor position.
All right, thank you. That's all the questions we have for you.
Thank you. I want to thank the Canyon Country Advisory Committee for hosting this event. Truly, it's been very good this evening. Except for the few years I was working on my undergraduate degree in electrical engineering, I've served my country and my community for my entire adult life. I and my family have sacrificed much, but public service often brings rewards beyond any economic measure. Last year, I received a phone call in the middle of the night. A student of mine sought to take her own life. I was able to offer immediate help. I cannot offer specific details on what happened, but I will share with you today she has made huge improvements in her life and looks forward to what will certainly be a happy, healthy, and productive adult life. I would not trade the warm fuzzy this type of thing gives me for $1 million. I placed a quote I like very much on my website by a guy named Young. You are what you do, not what you say you'll do. I encourage you to judge me on what I have done. Some candidates suggest it is important that we listen to the people. I agree. But I will continue to do much more than listen to those who come to me. I have gained valuable insights into the concerns of this community by coming to meetings such as this in the Canyon Country Advisory Committee and sitting in the audience. When asked to share, I've been willing to do so. But I'll tell you, it's always with a thought that it is more important that I understand you than you understand me. Several years ago, many who attend these meetings came forward with concerns about a rate increase. I listened carefully and sought solutions. Ultimately, I voted against the water rate increase. In another example, years before any public outcry against it, I have voted against the Alternative Water Resources Management Plan that would have us waste over $200 million of your money. Before casting your vote, I ask that you consider my lifetime of service and other highlights of my resume. My education includes a graduate degree in electrical engineering, a teaching credential, and a public school administration credential. My military service includes work as a cryptologist in the Army, a space systems engineer in the Air Force, service in support of both Desert Shield and Desert Storm, and a meritorious service medal. I am active in our community with many charities, and I serve on the boards of both Pleasant View and Habitat for Heroes. I have served in public office for 9 years while keeping a respectful distance from developers and others whose financial interests could be impacted by the water agency. My life can be summarized by the Air Force core values: integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all we do. It is these values above all else that I pledge to bring to the City Council if you honor me with your vote on April 10th. You can learn a lot more about me at my website, www.edcolley.com. Thank you.